On occasion. Why?
On occasion.
Yeah.
Oh, because there's this question I've been asking people lately, and I'm curious your answers to the question because
Okay,
it's
please.
more divided than I thought. Whereas I would have thought it was like one way.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, so let's say you're staying, and it's about a week stay, maybe a little less, whatever. Do you live out of your bag, or do you like kind of unpack and like have your stuff all about the place?
Okay, so you're saying like if you take a trip somewhere, does it have to be a hotel or could it be like
It could be whatever. Not your home though, not a place you like own or live
okay,
in.
it needs to be somewhere that you're just visiting for a week and you're asking, do you unpack?
Yeah, do you like live out of your bag? Like you explicitly keep all your things in your bag unless you absolutely need it in the moment or are wearing it? Or will you kind of like have your things kind of like around the room?
I think if it's a week, you
Like,
should unpack.
okay, so you won't live out of your bag.
No. Yeah, I think you should like hang
Hmm,
everything up. Like if it's
okay,
if it's a week long, you may as well just take everything out and deal with it that
okay.
way. I mean, I think it depends. Like, is there a closet for you to hang stuff
Yeah,
up
sure.
and like
Yeah,
some
sure.
maybe
There's
some
closets and
drawers?
drawers. Yeah, yep, yep.
Okay, okay. Why
Okay.
why are you? What's the?
See, I would have always thought people just live out of the bag.
Huh?
And it's much more like half and half than I ever would have thought.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. And now so the other question about this, and this one is a little more specifically towards hotels and stuff.
Hmm.
When you use a towel, is it one and done? Like you use that towel and then that shit's on the floor, or do you use the towel like multiple times until you're like, okay, I don't need this one anymore?
Oh yeah, I do not like people cleaning the room if I'm staying there. So like I
Okay.
will I will use the one towel for the week that I'm there or however long.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think I think like I mean it. If you're staying somewhere for a really long time, like if you're somewhere for 2 weeks, I could understand
Hmm.
like switching towels midway through or something like that. But
Okay.
I think a week of consistent towel usage is not bad.
Okay.
I don't
Interesting.
know.
Interesting.
Do you? Okay.
I live out of the bag, and the towel thing is a little more dependent on how many people I'm staying with. But assuming it's just me and maybe one other person, as soon as I use that towel, I throw it on the floor and I'm done with it. One time.
Really?
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah, one time. Unless there's a bunch of other people or there's not that many towels for some reason, but most hotels have like a decent amount of towels in them. So I'm just like, yeah, one time, throw it down. If I need more, I'll fucking ask for them.
This makes you come across extremely wasteful. I feel like this is a wasteful
I'm
attitude.
paying a lot of money for
Imagine.
these fucking shitty towels.
Yeah, but like think of the water cost, especially
The
as a
water.
like you're lucky you're not like a California denizen or something. I bet
We
if you
got a lot of water here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I bet if you stayed somewhere in California, they would probably have a thing on the door that's like, "Hey man, use this towel a couple times." Like they'd be like, "Listen, we're about to be
Nah,
living in a Mad Max future where water is like the
I'm,
golden
tr- I'm trying to
most."
be dry
Okay, all right. I mean, that's fair. I So
and
wait,
clean.
when you're at home, how many times do you use a towel?
I use the same towel for a hot minute at home.
So it's
Maybe
literally
like
just
maybe like 3 or 4 days, depending on how like I don't know.
so it's just vacation mode. Like you're just like, okay, I'm on
Oh yeah,
vacation.
exactly. No, literally.
Clean
I mean,
clean
I
linens.
don't enjoy the quality of the towel, so it's just like I'm not gonna reuse this towel if I have like 4 to 6 towels.
Do you let room service clean your room every time that you leave
I
or
don't
no?
really like the room service people to come in, but if I need something, I will just ask for it and then they can clean it when I'm gone. Like done
Yeah,
staying there, not like out and about. But
man.
hmm.
I feel like I've never felt more diametrically opposed to you than I do now.
See,
This is like,
this is why I had to ask, because a lot of people say exactly what I said,
mhm,
and then there's enough people that say exactly what you said where I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Like that
yeah,
you really start to understand someone a little better when you
that's
ask
true.
this specific question. It's weird.
I really know what I'm dealing with now. I
Yeah.
know who I've invited onto my platform.
Yeah.
um, speaking of platforms, hello, we're back. We're back. It's been a while.
It's time. Yes.
What's it time for? Tell me.
Video games and talking about that. Have you been playing video games? Be honest with me. I know you've been busy.
Yes, actually,
Oh.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
We'll get into that. Okay. So it's been a couple months. We've been busy. We had plans to do another one a while back, and that fell apart for equally mine and your fault. And then we
Mm-hmm.
kind of like just my life kicked into high gear, and
Oh yeah.
uh, now I live in New York.
Yep.
So yes, things have happened, but I have been playing video games, just not maybe not in the way that I used to play video games. I think video games now for me have become like a let me take 2 or so hours out of my day, like or like my lunch break
Mm-hmm.
and just sit down and play something. But yeah, you made it sound like you've been really blasting through some shit. So
Kind of.
okay,
But
okay,
yeah. Yeah, I've
okay,
got stuff to talk about for sure.
okay, all right, okay. What let's we could you should start. You should start. You seem eager.
I'm a little eager, yeah.
Okay, okay, all right. So all right, give me like a like if you're the first thing you're gonna bring up, is this because you're the most excited to talk about it, or is this just what you've been playing the most? Like,
Ooh.
what's the order we're
Ooh.
going in here?
There's something I want to talk about with you specifically
Mm-hmm.
that we can both talk about for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's something I'm not sure if we can both talk about, but I want to tell you about it anyway. So,
Perfect. Okay.
all right.
What do you want to start with? Let's.
I beat Demon Souls.
Great.
Yeah, and it was a good
Excellent.
time. I had a really good time. I didn't have like almost any trouble with it.
Yeah.
Like the part where I was stuck in the Tower of Latria, I
Yeah.
beat that boss and that area like the first attempt. My new playthrough. And it was a good time, honestly. I had a really good time. I almost like played it again back to back, but my roommate's like doing this thing where he's playing all the Souls games. So we played Bloodborne, and then he played
Nice.
one. I was kind of busy, so I didn't get to join him, and we're about to play two.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, Demon's Souls was a really good time. And I just wanted to say I actually I see how you were like so into it. You like played through it a few times there,
Yeah.
because I almost did the same. I was like, damn, I'm actually really enjoying this. I'm kind of itching for more.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a moment where that game, I guess like all Souls games, really just suddenly makes complete sense.
Hmm.
Like it's kind of a bittersweet thing because all the mystery is stripped away,
Hmm.
and now you just know what to expect going
Yeah.
forward. You feel like I think in this game in Demon Souls it takes, I don't know, I don't know, maybe you would disagree with this. I feel like it takes longer in that game to reach that point than in some of the other Souls games. Like
Yeah.
like Dark Souls 1, I feel like you kind of get it maybe a third of the way in, maybe half. What do you think?
Uh,
Cuz like Demon
it,
Souls, I
yeah.
I think that there's, and maybe this is more because we've played other Souls games, and so that structure is built into our mind already, and then anything that deviates from that feels it takes like maybe even longer to adjust to, right? So it's like Sekiro, I hate Sekiro. and I think it's just because I have all of the Souls game data downloaded into my
Yep,
brain so
for
thoroughly that
sure.
it's hard for me to make even the slightest departure for a game that I feel should be the same.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
but so Demon Souls is kind of like that, but not to the degree that Sekiro is.
Yeah.
Just at least in its structure, right? Like it takes a
Hmm.
while to get a feel for like you're like, what the fuck am I even supposed to be doing? Like, where am I going? What's Um, but I don't know. Did you any highlights? Any favorite levels
Um,
or bosses or?
I really liked the last boss actually. Or I
Mm,
think he's the guy who can take your levels when he
yeah,
grabs you.
yeah.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. I don't know what like my favorite moment or area would be. It's all kind of really cool. It's I like the Nexus. I like how you can go to the different worlds and progress each one like in any
Yeah,
order kind of. Yeah, it's just it's really cool. It's just I see how that game spawned everything that came after it. Like it's like
yeah,
obviously it was just so fucking cool. Like
yeah,
um yeah, and I'm very very excited for Elden Ring. So ready for that.
yeah. I haven't even, man. I haven't even been thinking about that. That's how
I
like,
that's actually one of like the only future like game things I think about. I don't really know what else I have on my radar.
yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot on my radar, but I think I'm trying to just let that game come out,
Yeah.
so I don't want to get too many preconceived ideas about what it is because my reaction to Sekiro was not good. Like
Yeah.
that was a game that I maybe made it halfway into and was kind of like, this isn't, I don't know. So I don't want to assume that
Hmm.
this will be substantially different or too much the same. I don't know. It's weird. I'm just gonna try to go in not knowing anything and hopefully I enjoy
Yeah.
it. That's like,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Fair enough.
we'll see about that. Okay, all right. Well, what's the other thing? What's the thing that you don't
Oh,
know that
I've
we've talked?
played a lot more Returnal. So
Okay,
have you?
no,
Okay.
literally haven't even touched it since that
Yeah.
first time.
So that's what I kind of thought,
Yeah.
but wasn't sure. All right. So I'm in the final area.
Okay.
I can finally go underwater. You don't get that until the final area.
Okay.
And the whole area is underwater and the whole game like plays totally differently now. Like the gravity is different because
Hmm.
you're underwater and it's dark as fuck because you're deep underwater. Like it's very different. But once you make it halfway through the game, you start at the halfway point. So you don't have to do the first three
Uh,
areas anymore.
that's
And
cool.
it is so amazing. Yeah. It's basically like the thing you were wanting was just like why don't I just start with my weapon proficiency like cracked out was just like well now you do
Yeah.
because you're at the halfway point.
Got it.
um but yeah, basically what I just wanted to say is that there's more to that game still than I thought in terms of like permanent unlocks, I guess. Like it takes a while for you to get to it, but now I feel like I have what I actually wanted from that game, which is like if I was still starting at the very beginning with like very minimal like permanent things to like give me that boost I want, I would be so exhausted by now. But now it's like, okay, I'm at the fourth area, quote unquote, and you can basically go straight to the final area. You don't have to go through the fifth area again. I don't know. There's
Okay.
just a lot of things that have been really good. It's so hard though. It like blows my mind. I can't believe this game is like kind of as popular as it sort of is and so many people are enjoying it because it's so hard. Like it is
Sure.
so unbelievably hard. I can't even
I
it's
feel
so
like
unforgiving and brutal.
it's one of those games where it gives you just enough to want to keep going.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but it does seem pretty brutal. Well, it's good to hear that there's more going on because that makes me more interested in playing it than I was before. I think.
Mm.
Does that mean I will? I don't know. I mean, it
Yeah.
just at this point I'm so far removed from it that it's hard to even get
Hmm.
back in that mode. But I should give it a shot just because. Well, so tell me, did you now that you've got like the water thing, did you go back to like the first area and start digging around? Like,
I don't know how to go to the first area.
what?
I'm assuming once I actually beat the game, it'll put me back in the first area with everything.
You
But
can't.
as of right now, there is no way to go back to 1, 2, or 3 anymore for me. I'm stuck. Something happens story related, and I'm stuck in the fourth area. Like there's no going
Oh
back.
shit, that's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, man.
And I
Wow.
will say this, that third area is harder than the fourth area. The fourth area is almost like a because you go through a big story moment after the third area, and then once you're in the fourth area, it's almost like a okay, I need to like kind of breathe a little bit. It's still tough, like tougher than 1 and 2, but the third area specifically is like a load of horse shit. Like that area is, I guess maybe because it's the halfway point,
Yeah,
they
they're like
made it
dialing it
like
up.
really, really hard. But
Yeah.
yeah, the fourth area is a little more chill and a lot more of like a
Okay.
farm and build up your gear to
Got
get
it.
ready for the fifth area, which is an absolute nightmare.
Got it. Okay.
If I'm being honest. But
Yeah,
there's no
that's
boss for the fifth area, so that was like the interesting thing about that.
okay.
It's very, very hard, but there was no boss, which was interesting.
I don't want to ask for too many details because I feel like this is something that I and maybe the people at home would want to experience for themselves. But do you feel like the differences in the areas are meaningful enough to
Hmm.
carry you through, or is it really just like a palette swap kind of thing? With the
Um,
exception of obviously if you're underwater for the last one, that sounds pretty majorly different.
yeah,
But
I would say that one's the biggest change. Other than that, it's similar to, I mean, any other kind of game like this where it's the randomly generated stuff. Like, I mean, in Hades or in Risk of Rain, like the different levels, it's the same thing, just they kind of look different and are
right.
slightly structured differently. Different random rooms that'll be generated. But yeah, no, it's more of a visual and just overall vibe kind of thing for each area, in my opinion, until the last one where it is
Okay.
actually different.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I it's pretty. I think something you said is I've been thinking about it like when you were like, oh, it's interesting that this game is so hard and yet the game is so popular. I really want to know like because it seems like a lot of people bought it, but how many people are really like seeing it through or continuously? Because like I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I'd be
this
interested to see that too.
ongoing conversation about Souls games and that as well as like, oh, you can look at the trophy data, the percentage of how
Hmm.
many people have gotten each trophy and determine how far people get into the game, right? Or
Yeah,
whatever.
right. Yeah.
Um, that kind of thing. Like comparatively, I've been playing Mass Effect the trilogy. Like I beat one and I'm almost done with two.
Yeah.
And the trophies in that game, the ones that are like rare are like 50%. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm.
like people finish those games. Like that is a game
Hmm.
that people just see through.
Yeah.
And you never really see those kinds of statistical like completion rates for games that are challenging, right? Which is by design, I guess. But also for me, I think the thing with Returnal is the the maybe the story becomes worth it at a certain point, and that's something that was driving me forward a little bit early on. But it was like I didn't enjoy the gameplay enough for it to make me want to continue just to know what happens.
Yeah.
So uh, but yeah, I'm curious how it does seem like this game did really well financially for Housemark, which is great because they seem like they deserve it. Probably, I mean, like they've been making games for a while, and it doesn't seem like anything's caught on in this big of a way for them in quite some time. So I don't know, but I mean, good for them. They
Yeah.
and yeah, man. Every time we talk about it, I get a little bit closer to playing it. So one day it's gonna push me back over the edge, I think, or they'll put out like a big DLC thing that I'm like, that'd be interesting, or whatever.
Hmm.
But Cool. Okay. All right. Okay. You gonna finish it?
I really want to. I feel like I honestly easily could if I just sat down and gave it a few attempts. It's
Yeah.
just legitimately an exhausting game to play. Like
Yeah.
it takes a lot out of me to get to where I need to get. Like it
Hmm.
is just very hard and takes a lot out of me. So I've kind of been on chilling on that a little bit. But I feel like and I haven't seen the final boss yet, but I feel like I could easily consistently get to the final boss. So it's just a matter of
Yeah.
how hard that is,
Yeah.
basically.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm curious what form the final boss would take too. Like just,
Yeah, same. I haven't
but
seen it. It hasn't been spoiled for me.
mm,
If it's underwater, I can kind of imagine what it's going to be like because this whole underwater area is just fucking nuts.
really? Okay.
But it has like a very particular enemy design that I can kind of
Hmm.
see what the final boss might look like if it's
Okay.
similar to this area. Yeah.
That's cool. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Did you, one more question,
Yeah,
real quick.
please. Hmm.
You were in the third area, right?
Yeah, I think I got really close. I didn't see the boss, but
Okay, that's what I wanted to
I
know.
got
That
pretty
boss,
deep in.
while I don't think it's
Wait, which one?
particularly like difficult of a boss, the design of it and what you kind of have to do
Mm,
to beat it is so fucking cool. And same with the fourth boss. It's not particularly hard, honestly. I would say the areas are more harder than the bosses at this point,
hmm.
but the third and fourth boss, just by design and what's going on, are so fucking
Really?
amazing. Like so
The
satisfying
third
to
area is like the pillory.
with the suicide robot drones that
Yeah,
shoot
yeah, yeah, yeah.
rockets.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. God, those things fucking suck. Yeah,
There's a
okay.
point. I have a pro tip for this area. There's a point, and it's the same every time, where you're having to cross a bridge, basically.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, a bunch of these suicide robots will spawn on the bridge while you're
Mm,
going to this final part of the area that leads up to the boss. So once you've crossed that bridge and you're in the final part, it's you basically going up to it. There's a bunch of platforming challenges and then a final room with a teleporter,
mm.
and the final room is full of like mini bosses and tough enemies. You can just run straight to the teleporter and go
Oh,
straight to the boss.
nice.
Highly recommend, especially if you have a decent amount of health already. Like I wouldn't, there's no
Don't
point in
even
killing
fuck with
those
them.
enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no point.
Yeah. That's the funny. Yeah, that game's just so I need to play I need to play some more because I feel like that's the funny thing about that game is like you kill stuff and you get weapon proficiency for killing stuff, but the drops are never really worth it. Or not, I don't want to say never, but usually
No, they're pretty much not.
uh
Yeah.
yeah, it's just it's like yeah, maybe I mean that whole game is just a series of trade-offs. Like it's like
Oh, and there's way more weapons than I ever would have thought now
really?
too.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's way more weapons as you get further.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
And a lot more like weapon, those like little abilities you unlock, not the trigger, not the active abilities, but like the passive abilities. There's a lot of those
Oh,
too,
yeah.
way more than
Got
I
it.
would have thought. Like the variety and builds increases drastically as you
Interesting.
continue.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I'll give it I'll give it another shot because
I'm rooting for you.
you're making
Yeah,
me a little
no,
more
I mean
interested in it.
it's literally probably one of the best games I've ever played. That's why I wanted to bring it up, even if you hadn't played it, because it has continuously impressed me, and it's so fucking hard that I still haven't beat it, and I still like want to play it and think about it.
Sure. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. You're making me interested in it again. I don't know.
I'm
It's
rooting for you.
yeah. It's we'll see. We'll see. Okay. And what else you been playing?
I played a decent bit of Pokemon Unite there for a while when that came out.
Mm-hmm. I
I'm
heard
really into that.
people, yeah, people really like that game. Even people who I wouldn't expect to like that game, maybe like people who don't like
Yeah.
MOBAs like that game.
Yep. Same.
So,
I've noticed that a lot.
but that's just the Pokemon effect, I guess. Like anything
Yeah,
Pokemon.
no. It really is. And you can tell, like, playing it as someone who's played MOBAs, even, you know, as casually as I have, it's so funny how you can tell there's a lot of players that don't know what MOBAs are or what they're doing at all.
Mm,
Whereas then you come in with any like sort of league knowledge at all, and it's over.
yeah.
It's a GG. Like you've won because you have structure and know how to play that type of game. But it's been a lot of fun. So do you know anything about how it works?
I haven't played it, but I've heard people talk about it. I mean, I know that there's not creeps, right? Or are
No,
there?
there is. That's all.
Is it?
It's but it's like jungle creeps
Yeah,
only.
yeah,
Yeah.
not lane creeps. There's
Right.
yeah, yeah, and then but there's still roles.
Kind of, yeah. I don't fully understand other than uh like there's the obvious tank, more tanky like champions, and then the other ones which just do damage, but there's different types of ones that do damage and I don't fully understand
Okay,
where those go or why you would need one over the other exactly because right
sure.
now it just sort of seems like someone is obviously doing the most damage, so
Yeah,
you should pick them. Like that, whoever's doing more damage faster is winning right now. I don't fully understand. Yeah, all of that, but yeah, there's basically a few supports, a few tanks, and then a bunch of damage dealers. And you have two abilities and an ult, and no items. So there's no like item builds or anything.
right.
So it's just kind of really simple. You just walk around, kill jungle Pokemon, level up your abilities, and
Kill?
then
Do they actually die or what's
no, you do actually capture them when you beat them. Like
okay.
your trainer throws out a little ball and
Got
then
it. Okay, okay.
you get points and
Yeah.
instead of towers, there's like little circles that you score on.
Hmm.
And so if it's like your circle, when you go and stand in it, you'll recover health and like get a little shield.
Mm.
So that's like your equivalent to having a tower, I guess. It's like more defensive. But then if it's the enemy circle, you try to score your points that you've gotten from killing wild Pokemon. Yeah. And then after so many points, the circle will blow up and you move on to the next circle.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Did
It's just a super simple MOBA. It's very addictive. It's
It's
not any
only
good
on
skins
Switch,
yet.
right?
Yes, it's only on Switch. Very
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. No, I mean that makes perfect sense. I think based on the I mean that's Nintendo is the Pokemon platform. I mean,
Yeah,
if you don't count
fair enough.
Go, which I try not to,
Yeah.
um, then but so does this game run well?
It runs, yeah, it's actually a mobile game ported to Switch, and it's not on mobile yet. It's coming to mobile soon, but
Got it. Mobile was
you
like the
can tell
lead
how
platform.
mobile it is. So yeah, yeah. So it runs very, very well just because it's meant
Yeah,
to run on phones.
interesting. I
But that being said, it doesn't like look like a top tier Switch game. It looks like a free mobile game,
yeah. Okay.
which is fine. It looks fine. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be super negative about how it looks, but you can also
Yeah.
tell it's like, oh, okay, yeah,
Well, I mean, since we last spoke, the bait and switch of the bait and switch of the Switch
yeah,
OLED had
yep,
come to full fruition. So, you know,
yeah. How do you feel about that?
there goes the possibility of running Breath of the Wild
Uh,
2 well, I guess. Well, who knows?
yeah,
I mean, who knows when that game's even going to come out? But I think
true.
yeah, it's that is a choice that they could have made. I mean, I've seen a lot of people theorizing about what could have happened there as far as they had one planned and then it fell through because of the chip shortage or whatever.
Yeah,
But it, to me, it's very disappointing because I think the Switch is in need of a power bump just to keep with the I don't want to say
Yeah,
like the like parity with the current consoles because it is a totally different platform
yeah,
with different considerations. I mean, I don't think it needs to be like a top of the line, 4K output, whatever. But I do
yeah.
think that now that I don't know about you, but with the PS5, I choose the frame rate mode every time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Every time. Um, doesn't matter what the game is. I always pick it because I just cannot allow myself to sacrifice frame rate for visuals. And I think 30 FPS target on the Switch is unfortunate.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's all that's literally all I want. I don't just yeah, something that could be a little more powerful enough to run things at a smoother, better frame rate.
Yeah. Yep. Not a
That's
lot to
all.
ask for, I think.
No,
But um who knows? I will get it eventually. The question is, you know, well, I guess I mean, we'll get it eventually, but is it going to be like Switch 2 or what are we, you know what I mean? Like what are we doing with that? Like are we like how old is the Switch? Switch came out in 2017, right?
something like that. Yeah,
What it's 2021. What is that? Like 5 6 years? 5 years?
3 or 4. But it's
Feels like 10.
but it was like
Um
it came out already behind in a hardware performance kind of way, which is their thing, is to kind of be a little behind.
sure.
But now it's like, okay, these other like here's the thing. So this new Switch that's not more powerful is 350. A
Yeah.
PlayStation 5 is 400 if you're getting a digital one.
Yeah, it's
Like,
true.
and the quality difference is so
Yeah, well, I
it's
mean,
insane.
and I think that's just like if there's something that's just true when it comes to hardware design, it's that making things small is always hard, right? I mean,
Hmm.
that's the thing about the Switches and with the Steam Deck and anything like that.
Yeah, true.
The challenge comes in placing it into a form factor that is portable. So, I mean, to me, direct translation of costs is valuable in the sense like as an end consumer what is more worth your money, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're a person who doesn't have any of these platforms and you go to Target assuming that you can even get anything
Yeah.
and you see a Switch Pro or a Switch Pro, god damn it, Switch OLED for 350 and a PS5 for 399, if you're going just on the basis of value, yeah, I mean, maybe the PS5 makes more sense, but also like, who are you? What is your life like? Like, if you're,
Yeah, that's very true. Because I forget that because I never use my Switch for handheld, but that is like
oh, see,
obviously what's so great about it. Like
my
that's
dock is in a box somewhere. Like that
yeah.
thing,
See, mine stays glued to my dock basically.
I haven't looked at a Switch game on a TV in actual years. I th- I think maybe Breath of the Wild was the last one. Like, I think I played through
Yeah,
Breath of the Wild on the TV because that just made more sense.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, uh,
yeah. Fair enough. And see, I always forget that, but that is I mean, obviously, what's so great about the Switch
yeah,
is that
it's really
it,
funny because it's called the Switch, and the entire point is that you can play it both ways. But we each picked one way and just stuck with it.
yeah.
Like that's it. Like
And that's why I wish they would have had. So they made the Lite, which obviously can only do one, and
right,
I wish they would just make a Pro, which could only be on your TV. Maybe that's asking too
sure,
much, but I feel like having one that's only portable, one that can do both, and one that's only for your TV that's a little more powerful kind of makes sense in a weird Nintendo meta kind of way. But
right,
I am glad that the OLED one is coming out for the people that do um use Switch handheld
yeah,
because that screen is going to be fucking awesome.
yeah,
And I heard it's going to have like an even better battery too.
yeah. Were you a Vita
Yeah.
owner? Did you have a Vita?
Oh, yeah, I love the Vita.
Did you have a original Vita, like the OLED Vita, or did you get one of the LED ones later?
Oh, I don't know, honestly.
I don't remember when the cutoff was.
Hmm.
honestly, but they're um
I thought all Vitas had OLEDs actually, so
no, no, no,
I didn't even
no.
know there was a second.
They switched to a an LCD panel
Hmm.
and trimmed it down a little bit. I think it's slightly thinner,
Mm.
and it weighs less. Um, so I think it's like called the Vita Slim or something, or like by like Sony never called it that. They were just like, we're not making that
Yeah.
one anymore. Now we're making this one, but people call it that. It's the 1001 is the OLED one, I think, like the very first version of it. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, for a long time people had their pretty distinct preferences between the two. Like OLED and LCD screens are very, you know, visibly different. Um
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm the person who prefers OLED screens, but
Yeah.
I don't know that objectively you could really make a case for why it's like 100% better. I think
Oh, I mean, I feel like it's undeniably better, but maybe that's just
really,
me.
I,
At
you know,
least just like looking at them, yeah, they
yeah,
look better, but I don't know. If I'm being honest, I don't know why they look so much better. I mean, I
yeah,
know it's a newer or newer in the sense that it seems like more like when I see TVs, it seems like it's been showing up more often the past few years, and that they're usually more expensive. So I'm like, oh, it must just be better, and they look better. So
yeah, yeah. I think the to me the range, the dynamic range between like you know like black, which on an OLED is basically just true black, like it's almost completely off, right?
mm, yeah,
The difference between that and a regular LED LCD screen that doesn't present black as well, that to me alone is worth it. But also, like, I'm looking at a computer right now, neither of my screens are all you know what I mean? So like
right,
I mean
yeah,
it's I think it's nice to have, but the thing I'm interested in with the this just turned into a hardware discussion. The thing I'm interested in with Switch OLED is I like the dock design a little more.
oh,
Dumb thing to
yes,
say, but visually
no,
it looks a lot nicer.
the updated dock, both visually and design wise, are both very nice. I
Yeah.
think it has an Ethernet port now and a
Yeah.
few other differences. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong,
It
but
has an Ethernet port, but they got rid of one of the USB ports to put that there. So
well, it had three USB ports. I
yeah.
mean,
So now you have two, which is fine. I mean, I don't
yeah,
know. Are you ever gonna
that's
have
that's fine. I've never used all three at the same time, so I feel like that's okay.
it's true. I mean, I don't know for a Switch why you would need three, but
Yeah, yeah.
also it could they've just I don't know. It's like
No,
stupid,
yeah,
but like,
yeah,
bro, really?
yeah.
Anyway, okay. All right. And they had a USB Ethernet adapter before. Is that all
I
they did?
know.
Did they just plug that bad boy in on the inside
Yeah,
of the
they
dock?
just shoved it in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, so anyway, fuck it. I don't know.
like if you open it up, there's just a USB thing plugged
Yes,
in
exactly. Yeah,
inside it.
into
Yeah,
directly
yeah.
into the board. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Love it.
Whatever. Um.
So while we're on this topic,
Hmm.
the Steam Deck,
Yeah.
how do you feel about that? New mobile hardware.
I did reserve one
Oh
just
yeah?
because I mean whatever, it's $5 to reserve one. You could always just back out.
Yeah.
Um.
Do you have to reserve a specific kind? Like one model in
Yeah.
particular?
They make you pick between the three. So it's basically just really the only meaningful difference is the lowest one doesn't have um like the
SSD?
correct, yeah, correct. So it has eMMC, which is built into the board. And then the other two have NVMe SSDs installed.
Mm.
Um yeah.
Yeah, I want the highest tier one. I want the
Yeah. I That's what I
because
reserved.
that's like a way better SSD, right? The third one, isn't it?
Supposedly, I'm starting to doubt my decision on
Oh,
that,
really?
only because I haven't been paying attention too much to the coverage, although they're kind of drip feeding coverage of this thing out over time. But the Steam Deck to me um, is starting to seem maybe like the first version of a really good idea that
Yeah,
might that like let's say in 2 years, because like whatever, Valve will either keep making them or they won't. And I think the bigger thing is that, are they going to allow other hardware manufacturers to make them? It sounds like they're interested in doing that, right? So am I about to spend, whatever, $600 on something that I'll have to replace in 2 years because it's markedly better? You know what I mean?
yeah. And I
Um,
mean, it's also like it's weird because laptops exist.
yeah,
So it's like I don't really know what laptops are like priced at these days, but I feel like at some point the argument you may be making to yourself is like, well, why wouldn't I just get a laptop? And also, like, how powerful is the Steam Deck even? Is it like
yeah.
absurdly strong or kind of mediocre?
Well, I mean, it's definitely more powerful than the Switch, but
Oh God, I would hope.
I think the difference there being that, well, okay, well, we can go piece by piece. So the Steam
Okay.
Deck is a closed platform in the sense that it runs a modified version of, I think, Android actually.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a weird, not like to answer the question why you would not just get a laptop is based entirely in the fact that laptops obviously just run an OS, right? A stock OS like you would find on a desktop or whatever.
Yeah.
Laptops are, you know, very small form factor. They're still very expensive to get a
Mm,
decent laptop. It's still 1,000 plus minimum, I would say, if you
gotcha.
want to get something that'll play games. Um, Maybe 800 plus, we'll say. So still more expensive than the Steam Deck. Obviously less portable than the Steam Deck. The main thing though is that because it just runs off the shelf Windows, it doesn't carry with it any optimizations with the hardware in mind. So if you're playing The Witcher 3 on a laptop, you're playing the same exact version of Witcher 3 that somebody's playing on a $4,000 desktop computer.
Yeah.
Um, that presents its own benefits and challenges, obviously.
Yeah.
What they're doing here is they are so I, this is I need to do a lot more research on this because I haven't been paying attention to all of the new information that's coming out. But my understanding of
Yeah.
how it works is that they are basically. Do you remember Wine? Did you ever try Linux at all?
No.
Okay, so the way Linux works, if you want to play games on it, there was a program that was created at a certain point called Wine that allowed Linux to essentially emulate Windows drivers and architecture to make a game run on Linux without having to boot Windows.
Okay.
Um, Basically, what they're doing here, except they're also taking those games and maybe optimizing them slightly in a way that might make them work on the Steam Deck a little better than they would if it was
Huh.
just running Windows
Yeah.
or something like that. So,
Okay. Interesting.
so they've basically got a software and hardware kind of design parallel that they're trying to work with in order to make this thing punch a bit above its weight class in terms of performance.
Okay.
Um, is it gonna work? I mean, people seem to be liking what they're seeing so far. There's a lot of YouTube channels and stuff that I follow that are like my impressions of the Steam Deck. The problem is that
Yeah.
I find all those videos so dancing around the topic of like because it's still far enough away that none of the hardware is like finalized or anything. But like
Yeah.
they'll be like, oh yeah, we played Doom Eternal on the Steam Deck. It was running at 30 FPS, and I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
Same.
I think Linus Tech Tips had a video where he fiddled with the settings a bit to try to get the game to run it at its highest performance on like some certain graphic settings or something. I think they had it on like all medium or something, and it was running at like 40 FPS or something.
Huh.
But that was it. That was at native resolution, which you could drop settings and keep the resolution up, or you could whatever. And I'm curious if, and somebody maybe answered this question at some point somewhere, but like, are they going to have a recommended performance setting profile for each of these games for this specific hardware? Because they
I would
should.
think so. Yeah, I
I
would think so.
mean, as they seem interested in allowing the users to access the graphics settings. Like, it seems like all of these games, you can kind of tweak them however you want. You could make this game run at 5 FPS if you want. I mean, why would you want that? But like, you
Right.
could
Yeah.
bump it up to maximum settings and see how it runs or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's a really good idea, and I'm curious about what the execution is going to be like. But um, I don't know. I'm fascinated by it,
Yeah. Me
and
too. And I've heard it could somehow run like other things like Epic Game Store and stuff and launch games from there, which I thought was interesting. I had read that. I don't know if that's like
yeah, you might have to
super
install
true.
Windows to make that happen.
Mm. But
And
the fact that you can potentially install Windows on it is interesting.
oh yeah, you definitely can. You
Oh,
definitely
okay.
can.
Then yeah.
They even Valve was like, yeah, you could do that. Like they seem
Yeah.
like, but like you'd probably want to dual boot if that's the case, because you'd still want to keep, because like we talked about, the original
Yeah.
OS is doing some magic on the back end to maybe make the games
Yeah.
perform a little better. Um, but like, eh, I don't want to install Windows on this thing. Like,
I
is that?
feel like I would.
I mean, I
I don't know.
guess, yeah. But like, and if you want to play certain games, you'd have to, right? Like, what if you
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
what if you wanted to play League, which God,
Oh my
imagine,
lord. Don't even say
but
that.
like, or Valorant, imagine that, like, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. This, who is this for?
Yeah. That's yeah.
Who is this for? Who has $650 to spend on this
Apparently a lot of people.
and isn't already like in the PC ecosystem or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, who? But then if
Well,
you
that I
are,
mean, it's definitely for people that already have like a catalog of PC games just that they're sitting on. Like this is for those people, but it's still very interesting and I would say very niche for sure. This is a very niche product. Games are already kind of niche as it is. So then this is like a niche off of a niche.
yeah, it's true. I want to know so much more.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it like when it is out and exists and people can like start playtesting a bunch of stuff and trying a bunch of crazy things with it. Like that's going to be
Yeah.
very exciting for sure.
The thing that scares me the most is that like
Mm,
um is my pre-order going to come up before we really have a better idea of what, cuz I got like Q1
mm.
or whatever, and like I want to, by the time my ticket is pulled, I want to like know everything. You know what I mean? I want to like be
Yeah, for
fully
sure.
ready. Um yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating.
I honestly feel like we won't know a lot about it until it's out. Like I feel like they may tell us more about stuff you can definitely do with it,
Yeah.
but it's going to be kind of like a Wild West product until
Yeah.
people are getting their hands on it and seeing what all it can do.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe Valve, they've been pretty open so far with information, so maybe they'll just continue to drip information out there, like let people get hands on, and but yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's really one of those things that you won't know how well it works for you until you have it, right? So it's
Yeah.
like I mean, all the impressions so far seem really positive, but like that seems to be in like a particular use case, I guess. And they're also making a dock for it, which like
Yeah.
what is this a supposed like a PC
The
replacement?
dock was absolutely the most ridiculous part to me.
Yeah, and they're not, and it's being sold completely separately, right? So,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
that was funny. I was like, okay.
yeah. All right. Well, we'll stay in focus with that. I guess over time, we'll see how we feel as things progress. Um, anything else you've been playing?
Yeah. Um, I played Ratchet and Clank.
Cool. We could talk about that.
Uh, yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. It's definitely fun,
Mm-hmm. It's better than
but
2016 by a lot.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. No, it's great. It's a very well-made game and it's a lot of fun. But I don't like ever have this like desire to play it either.
Really?
And I don't know
Hmm.
what it is. Yeah, I honestly can't put my finger on it. When I do like boot it up and play it for a little bit, I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's legitimately great and I'm enjoying. You know what I think it is? The story isn't interesting at all. The writing isn't that good.
Mm,
And it sucks because I like how Ratchet and the girl Ratchet Rivet look and act a lot, but the stuff they're saying slash the things actually going on just don't matter to me. So it's like I have no desire to like hop in and see what's going to happen next. Like the game itself is very well made and very fun, but I wish the writing was like a lot better. I think that's what it is. But really fun, awesome
huh.
game,
How
looks great.
how far have
Huh?
you did you beat it or?
I haven't beaten it. I've been on this thing where I don't want to ignore Returnal for too long, basically, because I don't want to get rusty at it. Because
Yeah.
now I start in the fourth area. If I
Yeah.
fall behind now, I'll never beat it. So I like basically have kind of been a slave to Returnal, similar to how the main character is, to
Yeah.
where it's just like I kind of have to wake up and suffer to make sure that I can eventually get out of that
Sure.
hell.
Okay.
But yeah, so I kind of haven't touched Ratchet and Clank very much just because when I boot up my PS5, I'm like, well, there's Returnal. I need to like
Yep.
not get rusty. But I think maybe I'm halfway or over halfway. It's very short. I do know that. I would say even trying to unlock everything, you could probably beat it in less than 20 hours.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty far. Um I've maybe been to like 6 worlds
Oh,
or
you're
something
probably
like
almost
that.
done then.
Um yeah, I'll take like a week off of it at a time and go back, and I feel like it's always like a slight adjustment but never so long that you know I
Yeah.
can't like I kind of jump back in and I'm
Oh
like, oh,
yeah.
this is a little awkward for a second, and then I'm immediately like, okay, yep, this is the game. And then but when when I'm playing it, I'm like, wow, this game's great. And then it's kind of like you said, when I stop playing, it's hard for me to make myself want to continue.
Yeah.
um yeah, the story's a lot better than 2016's, which isn't saying much, of course.
Yeah.
The writing's better. I think I really like the portrayal of pretty much all of the characters, so that it's charming,
Yeah.
um in a way
No,
that
I
makes
like
me
the
want to keep
characters.
going. The world is interesting. um yeah, but I think the thing that keeps me going in it is just the gameplay is pretty fun.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it's just the right amount and of like challenge, I think.
Yeah,
um
I would say so. I've been thinking about bumping up the difficulty, but I agree that it's like
yeah,
decent.
yeah, it the difficulty, I'm curious what it does. I should just try it because like I feel like moments where I'm like, oh, this is. I guess what do you define challenge? Let's get really in the weeds here. No, because it's like I take a lot of damage, but I never really die. Unless I fall. So like,
Yeah,
does
that's the
that
thing
mean
is
it's challenging
I
or
never really die either. And I guess that's where I'm kind of coming from is just like, yeah, I don't even know if I have died actually.
yeah,
So it's like at some point I have to consider I don't know. It's just yeah, I haven't bumped it up yet because it is just so fun, but I have been like maybe I should bump it up to see what it's like. Like am I just going to be sweating the whole time I'm playing this game if at that point like cuz
yeah,
maybe that's not even what I want, especially
right,
coming off of stuff like Returnal where that is literally what I'm doing.
yeah,
Or am I just this kind of person now where I'm not going to be satisfied unless I'm
yeah,
stressed out
yeah, being
playing the
beaten
game?
by the being
Yeah,
flogged by video games.
right.
Yeah, I mean, some games are just designed better with challenge in mind. That's the thing is there's a difference between challenging and frustrating. And I think the
Yeah,
thing about Ratchet is that you take a lot of damage from enemies that are hard to place or hard to see. Sometimes the projectiles are hard to see or they move quite quickly. Sometimes
yeah,
there's just so many enemies on screen. And it's
yeah,
like if suddenly I'm getting hit the same number of times, but they're doing 20% more of my health, is that the challenge that I'm looking for, or is that just annoying? Right?
right.
Like the thing that challenge should be is, oh, maybe they get a little smarter or something. You know what I mean? I don't know, but
Mm,
that's probably
yeah,
not what it is. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's probably a numbers thing. You're right.
but yeah, it's just I don't know. I I think I'm enjoying just coasting through it
Yeah,
overall. I mean, um, there's definitely ways to break that game. Like if you're very
uh,
diligent about upgrading your weapons, then
yeah.
the bosses are definitely more spectacle than anything.
Oh yeah.
um,
No, I mean, I feel OP for sure.
yeah,
Like you have quite an arsenal.
that game's cool. The portals are not as big of a thing as I thought based
No,
on the
that's
marketing.
yeah, I know, dude. And I will say, unless like those some portals you'll find they're like completely optional side things,
Yeah,
but it's like you can just walk through them and there is no flash of the screen at all. You're literally walking
yeah,
like
mm-hmm. Yep.
unless that is it literally loading something kind of like and like if that's
I think so.
not just a visual thing of you walking into a small room of the
Right,
level you're already in
right.
and it's actually loading this whole other small little area. I mean that is pretty cool and impressive the times it would do that. Similar to Returnal when you
Mm-hmm.
like go through a portal and load a whole thing really quick. But yeah, I agree. Based off of the marketing and how much they hyped it up and stuff, I was like, y'all really didn't do anything with this. And even the areas when it's like, okay, you need to smack the crystal and it shifts the whole area. They easily could have just done that, but like leaned into that a little harder. Like
Yeah,
load literally in the middle of a combat scenario. I want you to load an entire new area where I'm at and fighting and everything be different. Like
yeah.
that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
because they did do that in that first kind of opening sequence, right? When you're fighting that first boss,
a little,
you get like pulled into multiple dimensions while you're fighting, right?
yeah,
But
kind of. It was but basically, I wasn't impressed with
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. It's it's a cool game.
Yeah,
It's a cool
yeah,
game. I see why people are enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I'll finish it.
yeah.
But okay, all right. What else? Anything else?
Yeah. I have played a bunch of Monster Train lately. Do you know about Monster Train?
I know about it. It was
Did you ever play like Slay the Spire?
I did and did not care for it.
Okay, it's Slay the Spire
Yeah,
basically. It's just a Slay the Spire game. But yeah,
yeah.
I've been playing a lot of that lately. Like in my free downtime,
Cool.
I've kind of just been uh, playing a bunch of that. Highly recommend to anyone who likes Slay the Spire. Play Monster Train. Basically, that's
Okay.
all I have to say about it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It seemed cool. People were into it. I don't like card games.
yeah. Oh yeah. See, I love card games. So yeah, shout out to card games.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to things I like.
Yeah.
Um uh, okay, all right.
What have you been playing?
I'm gonna start with the Ascent. I've been playing a lot of the Ascent.
Yeah, let's go. I played a little bit of that recently. I didn't
Okay,
play much though.
okay,
Talk about
okay.
it. Tell me.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. I can tell. Oh wait, no, I don't think does the Windows app, does the Xbox app tell you how much of a game you've been playing?
I don't know actually.
Does it keep an hour count? Let me find out really quick. Yeah, I've been playing a decent bit of that game. Are you playing solo or are you playing co-op?
I have barely played it at all, but I was playing with one friend. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. No, it doesn't seem like it tells you how much
No, I don't see it anywhere.
you've been playing in the
But
game.
I'm honestly glad you've been playing it because I see a lot of people playing it,
Hmm.
but I wasn't sure if I personally wanted to keep going with it. I was like, I could see how this could be good, or I could see how this
Yeah.
doesn't get better also. But I'm interested. I like how it looks and feels more or less.
I That game is the perfect amount of turn your brain off nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't think at any point it bumps up the challenge randomly at certain points, especially some boss fights. There's an early boss fight that I did that with a bunch of guys with katanas that
Mm.
was probably the first time I think I failed out like a couple times in that fight. That was like the first one that really did that, but um it's not really supposed to be hard, I think. I think it's
Hmm.
just supposed to be just an experience.
Yeah.
Cuz like
Okay.
you continue to get loot and weapons and stuff, but at a pretty slow pace. Like it's not like a Borderlands or anything. It's like, you'll get a new gun maybe every hour or so,
Oh,
maybe slightly more frequently than that, but it seems to be mostly focused on just the idea that I'm making my way through this meticulously like built and fucking really cool world,
yeah.
um just leaving a wake of carnage and destruction in my like behind me. Like that seems to be the
Right.
thing. So yeah, I've been playing it co-op as well, and I think I could see that being a total fucking snooze fest if you're playing it by yourself. But I think if you've got somebody else to kind of keep you focused, it's enjoyable for sure.
Yeah.
Um, you're also doing it Game Pass?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay,
saw it on Game Pass. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. I'll try it.
yeah. It's I think it's the visuals and the feel of the combat. If that doesn't carry you through, then there's not much else to it.
Yeah, that's what interests me actually is the world, the visuals, the vibe, and
Yeah.
then the combat was satisfying enough. I was just like, I can't tell if this is gonna get, just my first little hour in, I was like, this is either not gonna get more interesting, like weapons and stuff wise, and I'm just gonna keep this pistol, or it is gonna
Mm,
get more interesting. Or I
yeah.
actually think when I stopped playing, I found like a machine gun of some sort, and that drastically changed
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. The
everything.
opening like 30 to 45 minutes of that game are not that interesting. Um
Yeah, I think I beat a boss maybe.
yeah, 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 there's one early. That's probably like an hour in, maybe slightly
Mhm.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It gets a lot
Mhm.
better. If that's all you've seen, then there's a lot more to it. Like it continuously opens up, it gets broader in scope. It's so much The world is considerably bigger than I was expecting.
Okay.
Like yeah, I mean I don't want to give too much if you do decide to keep going, cuz it's there are multiple moments where you're like, all right, this is okay. Got a hub city, got a hub world here that we'll come back to. Oh, okay. Like, it's
Yeah, okay.
you're like, ah, yes,
I
I've
think I
played one of these.
yeah, I think I made it to the little city that has like shops and stuff
Yeah.
when I
Well,
stopped, or roughly around that point.
I mean, they kind of make it seem like that's the city, right? Like that's the city.
Yeah, I kind of got a little hub area vibe from that a little bit.
Yeah, that
But
ain't the
there's
city.
okay, all right.
They're just sort of like, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
just you're like, okay, I get this. Like, I'm gonna go spoke
Right.
off onto different levels, but I'll always be back here. And then you'll go out into the wilderness somewhere, and you're like, there's a whole other fucking city. Just like,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, it's got a
Interesting.
lot more to it than I think, at least world wise, gameplay wise. I mean, they keep giving you. I just got a minigun that instead of shooting bullets, shoots rockets.
Hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is actually really cool.
So I'll keep playing.
It makes me think of not to go back to Returnal, but did in Returnal did you get the rocket launcher weapon? I think it's in the third area. You
Yeah.
find it at some
Hmm.
point. All right, I hate that weapon. I'll just be
Yeah.
honest. I
Yeah.
don't
It's
like
not
it.
great.
All right. Well, in the newer parts of the game, I have found a passive ability for
Hmm.
it. It literally fires like a machine gun now. So it just unloads a clip of rockets like at the
Nice.
rate of a machine gun. It's
It's
so
great.
OP.
Yeah.
It's completely changed the weapon entirely.
That's hilarious.
And yeah, that's what that just made me think of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. All right, yeah, I'm probably gonna play more of that then. I was yeah, I liked what I saw
It's a cool game.
so far.
I
Yeah.
don't I think it's literally like cool game stamp of approval. Like it's not gonna be, you know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna forget about it maybe in a year, or
Yeah.
whatever. But it holds my attention. It's fun to play. Um, yeah, I definitely recommend it. Um, and then yeah, I mean, I'm Ratchet and Clank and Mass Effect are the other two things I've really been playing. And Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, actually, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Um,
I had
and
trouble installing that on my computer, but I've been wanting to play it. It like I
yeah,
couldn't figure out what the issue
you
was.
have like
I've
an
tried
error,
everything.
right? Did you?
It would almost install. It would install like 90% and then it would error out. Yeah, and it
Yeah,
happened like 5 times.
that used to happen to me every single time I installed it. Are you installing it on your boot drive on your Windows drive?
I think so. I haven't tried through Steam if that's what you mean.
Okay,
I
okay,
was in trying like the Windows launcher.
got it. I don't remember. I don't remember what the fix was for me. I thought it was related because I was installing it on a secondary drive.
Mm,
The last time I downloaded the game, which by the way was like 4 years ago,
mm,
I had the same problem and it took me forever to fix it.
yeah.
And this time I downloaded it from Steam and it just worked like immediately.
Okay. Yeah, I've been meaning to try through Steam.
I don't know if that's
Um,
just a Steam thing or if that's like
yeah.
I'm doing something different that I'm not thinking of, but yeah, it worked immediately. So maybe try that.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but that game's cool. I was like level 60 when I quit 4 years ago, so 80 is the
Mm,
cap now, I think. So I'm gonna catch up, and I mean, everybody. If you need a community to play with, it seems like everybody in the other Discord
yeah, a
is
lot of people.
is playing it. So
Yeah.
you got that. I haven't been
Yeah.
playing with them really, but it'll take you easily 60 hours to get through just like the first
Free
two.
content.
Yeah, like just like main game and then like expansion content or something. Like it's a long
Right.
fucking thing. So um but yeah, Mass Effect, I think that remaster is a good port of that game. It's funny, like we're talking about like, oh, the PS5, like the load times are so fast, and you know, Ratchet and Clank isn't. It doesn't seem like they're capitalizing and blah blah blah, and, or whatever.
Yeah.
They boasted this tech. It's so funny because I'll play Ratchet and Clank, and it's like, I'll complain about those little things, but overall the game like loads literally instantly. There's like
Yeah.
no performance problems. And then I play Mass
Yeah.
Effect. There's like multiple second, like 20-second loading screens. And
Yeah,
like
dude.
you'll walk into a room with a mirror and the frame rate will tank to like fucking 15
Oh
frames.
no.
It's like really stupid.
Not the
But
one reflection.
yeah, exactly. But that game, yeah, Mass Effect 1 is a great game. It's still the best of the three, probably. I mean, I haven't played 3, so I don't know, but I don't think it's gonna be better. But Mass Effect 2, hell of a game. I'm almost done. I'm excited to finally see 3 and maybe hate it. I don't know.
Be amazed. Three
Yeah.
has some good moments, man.
Yeah.
Especially if certain characters don't die at the end of two, and it especially has some great moments. But
Yeah. I'm shooting for in my only other playthrough of Mass Effect 2, because I've played through Mass Effect 1 maybe 5 times, but my only playthrough of Mass Effect
mm,
2 was on 360.
hmm
And I let one character die
mm.
because I really hated Jack.
Oh yeah, I wish Jack would have died.
I
I
let her
had a
die.
character die, and I didn't want him to, and it was Morden Solis. Is that his name?
Oh
Morden
yeah,
Solis?
yeah, yeah. The scientist, the Solarian.
Yeah, yeah. He's the only one who died, and I have no idea why.
Yeah,
Not sure what I did wrong or how that happened, but he's the only one that died on the final mission of
that's wild.
two, and I didn't have him for three for one of the most incredible missions
Oh
of the
really?
entire game.
Fuck,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Okay, all
They just
right.
replaced him
Keep
with a
that in mind.
stand-in of his race that has a different name. It's so
Here's Sordin.
fucked.
Here's Sordin Molus.
Yeah, it's so fucked. I was just like, okay,
That's
thanks.
fucking hilarious. Okay, all right, cool. I'll keep that in mind. I mean, the shitty thing about the suicide mission is by the time you realize if somebody's died or
Yeah,
not, you're like so far in, you're just like, fuck it.
yeah,
I'm not really, and I've never been like a load back and do something again story game person.
nah,
So if somebody dies, I'll probably just keep going. But
yeah.
um, yeah, I'm almost done with all of the loyalty missions. Um, uh, so I think maybe 10 more hours, and then I'll be. That's a longer game. I'm like 60 hours in right now. I think by hour 60, I was like done with Mass Effect 1.
Yeah,
Maybe
I feel
hour
like three
50.
is shorter too.
Really? Hmm.
I feel like it's a bit shorter. Could be wrong. There's a lot in there. I could be so wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happens.
Yeah, there's a lot of DLC in 3 as well, from what I understand.
And one of them is very important that
Yeah,
you
it's like
do
the.
it and get the character,
I forget what
because
it's
not only
called.
is he hands down the most interesting character I think they've written ever,
Really?
but he's very important for like
Yeah.
Mass Effect lore. Like he has a lot of information that he'll just say.
I might know it. He's like a is he a Prothean?
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
that's okay. Yeah,
And he's OP.
I
He's a
think I had
very
heard
good
that.
like combat party
Really?
member too.
That's
Like
cool.
you definitely want him for every reason.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, no, I will absolutely. I'm one of those people who in these kinds of games does everything because I'm just into
Yeah.
it that much. Like I love Mass Effect, so I'll do it all. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's everything I've been playing. I haven't.
Did you try out Back for Blood? Because
I didn't. Did
it's
you?
actually pretty fun.
Is
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I mean, there's a couple more days. I recommend installing it if you want to potentially get into that. Otherwise, it'll be out in October and on Game Pass. So,
Is
I
it
mean,
on Game Pass?
it's going to be on Game
Did I
Pass,
miss
bro.
that? I guess I did not know that.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't know until the other day.
Huh. Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
So,
mean, well, at that point, then may as well just play it when it comes out. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I might try it out. I might try it out.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
cool. Um,
is it
it's
in the
very
top
Left for Dead,
sellers? Yeah,
but
it is in the
they
top sellers.
and I couldn't tell this by like footage or trailers or anything, but they've like completely done away with like the silliness that Left for Dead kind of had to it.
Oh, it's supposed to be scary.
Scary, I don't know. It's definitely serious though, in tone
Oh,
and
hmm.
the aesthetic, especially. Like it's not that silly or almost cartoony look
Yeah.
and vibe to it. It's very
There's
serious
no
looking and
pills
a
here.
serious tone. I mean, no, see that's the thing. It still has all that, but
Okay.
it's just like I don't know. It's different. Like Left
Yeah.
4 Dead sounds and the music. It's just so
Yeah.
iconic, but almost doesn't take itself seriously.
Yeah.
But it's like it's taking itself a little more seriously.
Okay.
But it's the same thing. eh, it's yeah. There's pills. There's med kits.
Safe
Yeah,
rooms.
yeah, safe rooms.
Interesting.
The characters have like their own little abilities now. Like one lady can like instantly pick up someone, and like
Oh,
one person like gives more ammo to everybody passively. Uh, so the characters actually have like a function now, and then the
that's actually
weapons,
really
there's a
cool. I like that.
lot more variety, and the weapons have like attachments and stuff now.
Cool.
Um, yeah, there's more items in general as well. Just like there's pipe bomb and Molotov like before, and then
Yeah.
there's like a bunch of other stuff too now. I mean, it's very much Left 4 Dead, just like updated and different and more
Huh.
serious. And it's very hard. It's very, very tough.
Left 4 Dead was, well, I guess maybe not on the default difficulty, but
Yeah, Left
Left
4
4 Dead
Dead, I feel
could be
like
hard.
finally got hard on expert, which we were all trying to beat it on expert
Yeah.
after a certain point. And I mean, similar to with Back for Blood, the first difficulty is honestly baby mode. It's not
Really?
hard at all. And then the second difficulty, there's only three difficulties. The second difficulty is actually very difficult. Like we were struggling to beat it last night with a party of four.
Really?
You have to very much watch your ammo. It's hard. You have to work together and like plan what you're going to do for a horde. And if you accidentally trigger a like optional horde, I mean, you maybe have just ended the run. Like it's actually very hard.
Huh.
Yeah, but I like it though.
That's
I
cool.
really like it. Yeah, I think we're going to try the hardest difficulty tonight, maybe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Um, yeah, but you need a party of four for that. Like, there's no, haha, the bot's gonna like it's very much old Left 4 Dead, where in the sense if we don't have a fourth, we might just kill the bot at the very beginning because
Yeah.
they're that
Yeah.
bad.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I
friendly
should
fire, all that.
okay.
I'm
Yeah,
interested to see how much content it'll have on release because the campaigns are also twice as long. They're 8 acts
right.
instead of four, and they have two finales each. It takes like a long time to get
Really.
through them. Yeah, it's like a big sit down.
If you
It's
quit
like a
out,
whole.
does it make you restart the whole thing over again?
I honestly don't know. I haven't joined mid session or left mid session yet.
Mm,
I've always done full sessions so far, but I am interested to see how that works.
okay.
I think you just join in and it'll give you some money and then let you pick enough cards to be caught up. I don't know if you know how the card system works, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, it's like modifiers or something for the run, right?
There are cards that will be modifiers for the run, but those are random. You
Got it.
don't like pick those, and then you have your own deck of cards, and it's basically like a list of abilities, and you like choose the order of your deck, and then that's the order you'll get them in throughout the run.
Got it. Okay.
And it'll be stuff from like 20% more movement speed to your melee is replaced with like a melee weapon. Like you have a melee button, and then there's like melee weapons, which like takes the place of a gun. There's like an ability that replaces your melee button with an actual melee weapon.
Hmm.
So you essentially have three weapons. I don't know. It's pretty good. So yeah, there's like a bunch of variety there. And
Okay.
just last night, I unlocked like twice as many cards as I had before. So there's like way more cards than I actually thought.
Sure.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of variety in your like character build than I ever would have thought. Like Kyle was going an ammo character, so he just had a fuck ton of ammo all the time and could give us ammo
That's cool.
as needed. And then I was being a little more selfish, and I went a character that had like basically nothing but movement speed buffs. So I was way faster than everyone, and I had a buff that anytime I got hit by a zombie, instead of getting slowed down by it, I would get a movement speed buff. So like literally, there's like a few segments where you have to like do something that causes a horde and actually run away from it, not try to fight it.
Mm, okay.
And so during all of those moments, I would be like leagues ahead of everybody, just totally away from the danger.
Are those things made clear, or is it like you?
Um,
That's the meta. Like you have to figure that out.
it kind of says like it'll say, but if you're, I'll admit, like the first time you're playing it, it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
sensory overload. Like there's a lot going on. This game is kind of overwhelming sometimes. At least with like information on screen, it'll be like, you know, words saying trigger the horde here, and then words saying like you need to do this, and it's just
Sure.
like trying to tell you a bunch. But once it's like, once you're used to it, it's like you almost don't even see it anymore. But yeah, it'll say like this is going to trigger a horde, and y'all need to run to this other, like, yeah, it'll kind of inform you, but it's also just like text on screen. It's not like, I don't know. It was very unclear what I needed to do my first run for
Got
sure.
it.
But
Okay.
yeah, now that I've played it, I think 3 times now, I
Do you
am very familiar.
for the open beta? Do you still have to sign up or?
Um, I have had it since closed beta, so I'm not sure because it's
Got
the
it.
same download.
Okay.
But for the open beta, I decided to try it on PS5 because it's crossplay, and I wanted to see what they did with the controller.
Got it.
Um, and yeah, I just went and downloaded it. So I'm not. I feel like it must just be on Steam.
Yeah, I don't see it, but
Then yeah, you
maybe
probably had to go to the website.
maybe. Ah, here it is. You just have to search it. Oh, it says it's in my library, but I don't see it
Oh,
anywhere. Weird. It's
interesting.
not visibly in my library anyway, but if you search it, it's like you already have this.
Give it to me.
I'll download it.
But yeah, I'm liking it a lot. I'm interested to see how many campaigns it has on launch. That'll kind of be the big thing for me because the campaigns are twice as long. So what are they going to only have like
Yeah.
3 campaigns?
How much is in the beta? Like is it just
It's,
like
I
one
think,
whole
some
eight
versus
part?
content, but
Okay.
yeah, a whole campaign, all eight
Okay.
acts, and
Okay.
it's, I mean, that's a lot. There might even, I don't know. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they said there's a new campaign in this beta,
Oh, really? Okay.
but I've only played the one that I was playing during closed beta, so
Got
I
it.
feel like that person was just wrong, or there's something I'm missing. I don't know. I'll have to see, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. I man, that big city internet 100 meg a second download. Dude, it'll be
yeah,
done in
dude,
2 minutes. You want to just
isn't it
just fire this
actually
bad boy up?
crazy how good internet changes your life?
Yeah, absolutely. Um okay. All right.
Did
You
you
actually have me a little bit more optimistic about it than I was planning to be, but
Yeah, I'm actually, I was very unsure how I was going to feel about it up to this beta. Like I was like,
sure.
I don't I there's been Left 4 Dead clones, and those don't really grab me in the same way that Left 4 Dead did back then. And I would even say a Left 4 Dead 3 probably wouldn't grab me in the same way that this game kind of is, cuz there's just a lot of
Hmm.
depending on how much content it will have on release, there's a lot. Like I want to play more of it to unlock more abilities for my character and stuff
Okay.
like that. And then if there's a bunch of campaigns to kind of supplement that to give me plenty of content instead of like, I don't know, we'll see. But like I already have that thing that I wanted back in the day where I want to beat it on the hardest difficulty just to do it, like not
Yeah.
because I'm going to get anything out of it other than, you know,
It just that's you want to keep playing it. Yeah, you want a reason to
yeah,
keep going. That's
right.
cool.
And now, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yep, yep.
All right. Um anything else? Anything else you've been playing?
Playing, I can't think of anything else,
Mhm.
but I do have a few more things I just definitely want to talk about.
Please, yeah. What's up?
Did you follow E3 and Summer Games Fest at all, really? Like,
I did. Yeah. Yeah. It's long enough ago now that I'm scrambling to
yeah,
recall what
yeah,
what
I only really remember a few things.
Okay.
The big one was like seeing more about Elden Ring during the
Yeah.
Summer Games Fest. That was, oh God, brings warmth to my heart. I know we
Yep.
already kind of talked about it,
Yep.
but I legitimately, upon seeing that, I was like, oh yes, finally, Dark Souls 4. Yeah, it's like this is like it
Sure.
looks like Dark Souls to me. It
It
doesn't look
does.
like
Yeah.
Sekiro. It looks like a Dark Souls sequel, and I'm all about it. Like I want it. I'm very excited.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Um,
possibility of an open world has me
mhm.
like anxious. But
Yeah, I'm nervous. Like Dark Souls with a horse with all this mobility and openness to it. Like it's
yeah.
oh, it's weird. It's weird. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm potentially super down. Like this is maybe gonna be like my new favorite from software like world to explore, you know what I mean? Something
Yeah.
in terms of how you can tackle it and navigate it and the sense of discovery for it. Like that thing going into a fresh FromSoft game where it's just like I don't know what's coming and I don't know what I'm going to find
Yeah.
or even what kind of character I'm going to build because I don't know what my options are even. Like it's always so exciting and one of my favorite feelings. I'm very ready to have that.
Yeah. I'm ready to have that too. I think I have the looming guilt of Sekiro hanging over me.
Yeah.
Um, where I just don't know that I gave that game a chance, but I feel like I did, but I don't know that I did. Like I
if did you if you got past Lady Butterfly or whatever her name
yeah,
was,
definitely. Yeah, way past.
then I feel like you got that what you needed from that game. Like if you were able to get through that, then I
Yeah.
feel like you knew if that game was for you or not. Like
Yeah, I got pretty fucking far. Far enough to the point that I'm like, man, I really should just see it through. Like there's just I don't know.
yeah, right.
But yeah, well that's I'm glad you're excited
I am. I truly
Elden
am.
Ring. I'm definitely interested. I mean, I'll be there day one.
Oh yeah.
What is that? February?
The end of January.
End of
So
January? Okay.
yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot could change between now and then.
Yeah, for
We'll
sure.
be we'll be playing in our Steam Deck.
Oh God. Um And then other than like that, I honestly don't feel like there was that much crazy stuff from the E3 and Summer Games Fest for me personally, other than
No.
sadly two Nintendo things, which are the new Metroid, which looks
Yeah.
fucking awesome. I mean, I'm a huge Metroid fan, so like I would I'm always kind of excited for a new Metroid, but and then the new WarioWare, which is just
Yeah.
like a little mini
That's like a
game.
little under a month away, right? I think at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
I think
both
it's
of
like
those are pretty close.
oh yeah, Dread is October.
Yeah, Dread comes out the same day as the OLED Switch, and then
Oh yeah.
WarioWare, I forget the date, but it's very
Yeah.
soon as well.
Yeah, WarioWare's like September 10th or something like that.
Something like that.
Um I loved WarioWare as a kid, so
Hmm.
I'll be interested to see what this is like for sure.
Yeah. No,
Um
I love almost every WarioWare that I can think of. Um, they're all really fun and silly.
yeah, man, that's yeah, it's sad because I feel like I mean, we haven't had a Sony press conference yet. So there's still more out there. I mean, they didn't do a show for Summer Games Fest or E3. Um
Yeah, they did do that Horizon Zero, or not
yeah,
Horizon Zero Dawn, but they did that, and that's about
I
it.
didn't like Horizon that much. So I was like,
I didn't either, honestly.
yeah.
I'm not that excited for the new one.
Yeah.
Didn't care for the old one really.
No.
But yeah, they haven't really shown anything. I feel like they just kind of keep delaying stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I
supposedly
mean?
Horizon is
Like,
delayed,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah. They haven't officially said that, but I mean,
yeah.
it appears to be true.
Yeah. Yep. Um yeah, there wasn't much. I mean, this is going to be a weird year for games, I think.
Yeah.
We're kind of in an in-between period where a lot of stuff is getting delayed,
Hmm.
um and a lot of stuff that's been announced is in like full steam ahead development but still not far enough
Yeah.
in to really be that close. So like, I mean, we've got what that Bethesda game that everybody's interested in, Starfield, which
Yeah. I
seems so
still need to see
yeah, I
more
mean
of that before I care. I
it's
was
so
so let
far out.
down. Yeah, I was so let down by the Bethesda E3 stuff. Not that I was expecting much. I'm surprised they showed anything really.
Yeah,
But if they were gonna show Starfield, I wish they would have showed me more than that. Like, fuck you. God
yeah.
damn it.
I mean, yeah. I think that game is at least 3 years away. Like I have
Oh,
no feelings.
actually,
I feel like that's or maybe let's say,
I think we're
fuck.
gonna get it whenever they said. What did they say? February?
No, they never said anything.
Oh, I could have swore they gave us a
No, no,
date.
no, no, dude.
No,
That game
hold
is
on.
like that game is like December 2022, maybe.
Oh,
Like
actually, they didn't give us a date?
I don't think so. I don't think so. That game seems
November next year,
okay.
supposedly.
Yeah. So
Okay,
2022, end of
interesting.
2022. I mean, yeah,
I think we're gonna get it whenever they said, and it's just gonna be a Bethesda game. It's gonna kind of not function well.
just another game.
Yeah, which that being said, it could be good. I mean, Bethesda in space, but
I'm sure
I
we'll be
do
good.
think, yeah, I do think it's just gonna come out, and then it coming out on time. The sacrifice of that is it's just gonna be a buggy Bethesda game.
Yeah.
If it isn't the typical Bethesda jank that I now expect, I will legitimately be surprised and impressed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's impossible for me to have opinions right now. I think that we just there's so little information.
Yeah,
Um,
fair enough on that.
it's I feel like I think this is something that everyone is on the same page about these days in terms of like consumers. We're all pretty sick of games getting announced 4 years before they come out.
Yeah,
4+ years, sometimes more, right? Like, how long ago did they announce Starfield? 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
been a long time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, whatever. Yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, um, yeah, I think the only other, I mean, I don't even really feel like talking about this because it's so fucking disgusting. But the whole stuff with Activision Blizzard is absolutely wild.
yeah,
Um, and that's something
yeah. It
that,
is.
yeah, if the game industry at large doesn't change from something like this, then I, what are we even
I
doing?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like what? Like how?
And I would hope that since it's like so much attention is happening to it right now with a company like Activision Blizzard, that it'll hopefully a lot more of this, I guess, will start to get corrected. I don't
Yeah,
know, because it seems to be a lot more fucked than I guess I would have ever thought, you
yeah,
know. Um, I don't
yeah,
know. It's like one of those things that I guess you kind of assume is happening, which is already fucked, but like that I don't I just assume women and people of color and stuff get mistreated. As fucked as that is, like I just kind of assume they're treated differently in every industry at all, period. But yeah, no, the stuff that's been coming out about Activision Blizzard specifically, it's like way more fucked and way more common than I would have ever thought. Just
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it
no, it's
seems to
crazy.
be um, something that they people who have the ability to make real change in that company have known about
Right.
so long that there's no excuse at this
Yeah.
point. Um, yeah, yeah, it's a total mess. Um, yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. You know
Yeah.
that things. Bobby Kotick needs to
Yep.
probably needs to get kicked out of that company. Um, and
Yeah, I would hope so.
they need to install leadership that consists of people who actually care about their employees. So, but I
Yeah.
mean, you know, it's a company that has multiple people involved in it that are from the Bush administration. So,
Yeah.
I mean, clearly human rights is not their interest.
Yeah.
um, yeah. Anyway, I don't have much else right now. I don't know about you.
Um. Maybe.
What's
I
up?
have like a few notes.
Okay, go.
The District 9 director joined
Yeah,
a game studio as a chief visionary officer, or whatever that is.
yeah.
But
Neil Blomkamp.
yeah, I
Um,
thought that was interesting. I am interested to see what he ends up working on
yeah,
and to what capacity.
yeah. Neil Blomkamp has been interested in video games. Um, like he's said that in the past.
Yeah.
Um, does he? I don't know. I mean, this is like one of those things where I appreciate his I appreciate his like vision, I guess, for things. Like he seems like a cool dude, and I like the movies he directs. Like
Yeah.
in that it's nice that they exist, right? Like even if I don't like I didn't enjoy Chappie, I guess,
Hmm.
but it's cool. It's weird. Like good for him. You know, he seems like he's making the shit he wants to make. Um, but supposedly he's
Yeah.
like working on like a multiplayer shooter.
Oh, interesting.
That was
Yeah, I
what.
wasn't sure what he would be doing or how much influence he would have over whatever he's doing, but
Yeah, probably
I did
probably
read that
none.
somewhere and I was like, huh, yeah, yeah, no,
I
right.
mean,
I was just like, huh.
it's gonna be like they're gonna hit him up and be like, "What do you think?" And he'll be like,
Ah,
mm, "Did you?" I was watching. This is only like tangentially related. I was watching the Hot Ones video with Matt Damon.
I haven't watched that one yet.
In it, he mentions that he like likes video games, which like who
Yeah.
fucking whatever, who doesn't? It's like not even a thing anymore. And the guy who asked the questions was like, "Yeah, you know, you reportedly mentioned there was a Born game, a Born Identity video game, which I remember. I remember that tie-in game, and I
Hmm.
remember it not having Matt Damon's likeness or voice in it.
Mm.
But I don't know that they ever talked about why. And they're like the guy, the Hot Ones guy's like, yeah, you know, reportedly you didn't want to be in that game because you wanted to be more like Mist, which is just like the most out of context thing that somebody could
Yeah.
probably, you know what I mean? And like Matt Damon laughed because I think he even he
Right.
understands how ridiculous that. And of course, there's a bunch of headlines out there like game writers running with Matt Damon doesn't like Bourne game because he wants it to be more like Mist or something, you know, like whatever.
Yeah,
Like
I think I actually even saw that headline
it's
somewhere.
it's
Something
it's
similar.
so like ripped out of a conversation that probably is more deep than that,
Right.
but basically the idea being that he didn't want it to just be a shooter. He wanted it to be more interesting, which the term he used in the interview is he didn't want it to be a first person shooter, which I mean it wasn't. Also,
Yeah.
you know I don't know if he knows or even cares or, but it was a third person shooter. But even like not talking about that, like I get where he's coming from in that, but to me that's what's funny about whenever famous people become involved in video games is like everyone plays video games. It's not even like a thing that's surprising anymore. What is surprising is do these people actually understand what makes a video game enjoyable, right? In particular. So
Right.
like Neil Blomkamp has cool ideas. Does he understand how those ideas might translate to make a video game good? Who fucking
Right.
knows? Like
Yeah.
it literally it and how much involvement does he have? Like it's yeah, it's just whatever. It's
Yeah.
I maybe you know what it would be really cool if they made a game that he did the world building and like visual design of, and then a game studio took that and ran with it. And it seems like based on the title that he was given, that might be the case.
Right. That's kind
But
of what I was like hoping, but yeah,
yeah,
had no idea what kind of role he'd
but
actually
also
be
like
playing.
visionary could be like he sits down at the head of the table and goes, "Tell me about this VR thing," you know, like
Yeah, right.
I don't
Uh,
know. Yeah,
Time will
but
tell.
yeah. Um, but yeah, okay. What else? What else you got? What else are you interested in?
Um, interested in,
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, baby. Let me tell you, I'm
Oh
fucking
yeah.
ready for this director's cut.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
ready for this
Yeah.
extra
That's soon,
content.
right?
Yeah, it's next week.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I think Friday or something around, one of those
Is
days.
it updating the multiplayer as well?
Yes, that is unrelated to the director's cut. Like that's just happening at the same
Yeah.
time. But yeah, they're updating the multiplayer to
Well,
have more content.
is it going to be like a native PS5 app like the new?
They are doing the $20 DLC and a $10 PS5 upgrade,
Got it.
and then
Okay.
the free multiplayer updates.
Well, but yeah, what I guess I don't know. This may be a dumb question, but I'm not wording it that well.
Oh,
Is
sorry.
the multiplayer benefiting from the upscale and the updating graphics and everything like the main game is?
Yes, yeah,
Okay, okay, cool.
yeah, for sure.
Because like it wasn't clear, like because I've seen people talking about how they're going to start selling the multiplayer separately or something, or making it free to play
Yeah,
or
they're
some
making
shit.
it standalone,
Right.
which I thought was interesting. I don't know how much the multiplayer is going to cost on its own. But yeah, basically, I guess if you bought Ghost of Tsushima, you just have that for free. And if I guess from what I understand, there's a group of people that aren't interested in Ghost of Tsushima at all for some reason, but are interested in the multiplayer, and this is them tapping
Hey,
into that.
and you know
Yeah,
what's cool is that they could break off a team and have that multiplayer go in like a totally different direction if they want to. So,
yeah. I don't know if you
um,
know this, but months ago they started hiring for multiplayer development
oh
specifically,
no,
like a
I didn't.
bunch. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if that's for Legends or if they're working on a new multiplayer focused game or what,
Yeah,
but
maybe both,
yeah, or both.
but that's cool. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, we need to play that for sure.
No, I'm actually so down because what I want to do, which I understand if you have stuff you need to do today, but I want to grind a little bit tonight to get my gear level up
Hmm.
for the new stuff coming out and even for the old stuff I haven't
Okay,
done. I still haven't done the raid. And I feel like I'm pretty under leveled. I'm not
got it.
sure. You kind of have to grind the game. Uh, but that's fine because it's fun. Like it's,
Yeah.
just legitimately satisfying to play, so it works out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that I feel like I'm so tapped out of playing multiplayer games on console because it's just such a like okay, how am I doing chat? Like am I going to do like do you do the party system on PS5? Is that what you do or
I will if that's what whoever I'm playing with wants to
okay.
do. I
Okay.
honestly kind of just prefer Discord, but
Yeah.
I guess theoretically, if it were just me and you, the party chat would be better for game audio as well. But
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not like upset about using Discord and like playing this sound through my TV or anything. Like it doesn't bother
Yeah.
me.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to decide how I wanted to do that because I feel like the party chat's probably shitty, but also like where it like how do I do the headphones or do the game sound with Discord as like a secondary thing? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
got to make a sacrifice somewhere.
exactly. We could work that out. I don't know. I'm. It's also like a non-issue that I'm blowing up into like.
No, this is a real issue. That's why Sony partnering with Discord is important.
Yeah,
That's why
true.
this matters.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
Early
yeah,
2022. Let's go. Please do it right.
yeah. Please. When do we? When do we get a better Crunchyroll app for the PlayStation?
Never, but maybe it'll be free from
Yeah,
now on,
that's
starting sometime soon.
true. Yeah,
That's
included
the
in like
rumors. They're gonna,
included in
yeah,
like
bundle it.
man, they better update that app, dude. That app sucks ass. It crashes out.
It's all right.
It crashes out anytime you put the console to sleep with the app open.
Okay, I'll admit I never use rest mode, and then
What?
my only issue with the Crunchyroll app is that it always signs me out. It never crashes, but every time I boot it up, I have to log back in, and
Wait,
that
do
annoys
you
the
turn
fucking
off your
shit out of me.
PS4 every time?
Yeah, of course. You want to know how fast it turns on? It's pretty fucking fast,
I
bro. Like,
wouldn't
I don't
know. I've
know.
never fucking turned it off.
Well, fuck you. It's pretty fast.
Holy
I
shit,
read
dude.
these horror stories from when it like the launch week about people putting it in rest mode, and I don't know, it corrupting and stuff. So I was like, nah, I ain't doing
Oh
that.
man, that was, I think that was entirely related to external storage.
It
But
could not even be true. It just was. It scared me, and I didn't want anything to happen to my child.
so going forward, you're just like, that's it.
Yeah, it's
Never.
actually in rest mode right now. I'm actually absolutely trolling.
Okay,
Apparently.
thank God.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was concerned.
Uh. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
no,
often I just turn it off.
don't. Yeah, next time, leave the Crunchyroll app open. Like,
I'm
like
scared now.
you know how like you, let's say you're watching something, you're like, all right,
Hmm.
I'm done watching this for now. So like you back out maybe to the series page or the main page of Crunchyroll, and then you just put the console to sleep.
Yeah, sure.
If you do that, the app just, it'll load like the same way it was, but then you try to play something, excuse me, um, and nothing happens. Like it'll just sit
Hmm.
there forever, and then you have to manually close the app and manually reopen it. I think the HBO app does the same thing. There's like clearly something wrong with these
This
apps that,
doesn't happen to me.
dude.
I mean, I also, I guess, don't put it in rest mode, but I feel like this is maybe. I had to have put it in rest mode while watching something before because I know what you're talking about. Where it's like, or at least for me, where I'll turn on the console and I'm already in Netflix or YouTube or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah,
HBO, Hulu, whatever, whichever one. I'm already there, and then I
yeah.
kind of just keep doing what I was doing. So I think I don't have this problem.
I think it's just the apps that don't have a native PS5 version. Like it's the PS4 version
Oh,
apps that you then,
okay, okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm the only maybe there's the weirdest possible thing happening to just my PlayStation.
Yeah, that's what I want to believe
That
is the
seems highly
isolated
inaccurate.
incident.
Yeah, that's I
Ah,
feel
dude.
like there's absolutely no way that's the case. Listen, you,
Well,
if you're listening at home and you have the same problem, let me know. Let me know. Find a way to let me know. Message me on any platform. I want to know. Or you just, Crossley, just try it, man. Just pay attention next time.
all right, I'll try it. Yeah,
Just pay attention
I'll
next
give you
time.
some feedback.
Next time you put your console to sleep. Cause like, anyway, all right, I'm done. I'm done. That's it. That's it. That's
This just reminded me somehow though. So I was playing a little bit the Final Fantasy VII remake PS5 upgrade stuff.
oh yeah.
You know, fun time, whatever. I didn't get very far because I realized I'd already played this a like 60-hour experience and I didn't need to do it again. But what I did realize is that did you play it on PS4 Pro
Yeah.
at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you remember maybe how it like made it sound like a rocket ship blasting
Yeah.
off into space?
Mm-hmm. Like The Last of Us Part
Well,
Two.
yeah, yeah. Any of those games sort of end of the PS4 Pro generation
Yeah.
obviously took a lot out of it. Um the PS5, this Final Fantasy VII remake is what has made me truly acknowledge how much more powerful this thing is. It runs it totally smooth, absolutely like butter with better textures and everything, and it's not making a single sound.
Yeah.
It's just quiet. And
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
like, "Oh fuck, dude."
they literally made the largest console ever created.
Yeah.
It
That just
is.
really made me think. I don't know why I like always kind of looked at the PS5 like it's only going to be this good right now. Like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then as games kind of come out, it's going to be like things are going to maybe start to run slower and maybe not run at 60 frames. Like it's only going to be
Well,
this
that may
good
happen,
right
but
now. No,
yeah.
that may happen, but after playing the Final Fantasy 7, I was like, "Oh, we're way further away from that than I thought though."
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
can run this quietly, this well, like
Yeah.
no issues at all, I'm like, "Oh, okay. No, we're going to
Well, it's
be
just. I mean, that
playing."
thing's. It's huge. How
Yeah.
could it possibly
Yeah,
like
no, true. I don't know.
not
I
be
guess I have
cooled
my doubts and my
effectively?
worries that
Yeah.
this is going to be another PS4 where it really isn't as good as they've kind of like touted it to be, and
Yeah.
it's only going to be running games this well right now, but I definitely don't think that's the case
No,
anymore.
no, no.
I
At
think
least
it's going to be
in terms of cooling, I think they've figured that out. This system was designed to maximize the however much power they want to get out of it without having it overheat or sound like it's about to fucking blast off
yeah.
out of your entertainment center. But I mean, who knows frame
Which
rate
I think we'll get
wise?
there eventually. I think end of the PS5 era, there'll be those crazy games pushing it to its limit where that big ass fan in there is going to be going like, oh,
Maybe.
I think
I
so.
think this trick is that it's already doing that. Like it's already that fans just roll like it's kicking off. You just can't hear it. I think that's the trade-off is like they've made it to the point where even when that hardware is taxed, it will come through in performance, not in like external factors like
Okay.
hearing a jet taking off in your living room or whatever.
If that's the case and it is stressing, but it's just silent and staying cool, that's actually still very
No,
impressive.
I
And I,
agree. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, that's actually crazy. But
Yeah.
either way, then still very impressed with it more than I like more and more every day. I'm like,
Yep.
you know what, this is a nice little piece of hardware.
It is really nice. Every time I turn it on, I'm like, hell yeah. I'm
Yeah,
excited to use it. I also find myself wanting a Series X lately. Um
I kind of
for
feel that
Game
way
Pass stuff.
sometimes.
But
Yeah, it would be nice to have Game Pass stuff on my TV, but then I feel like I'd never use my computer anymore. So it's just like this is my Game Pass machine for
yeah.
now, but I got my eye on the Xbox as well.
Yeah.
One day there will be a Game Pass game that's only on Xbox that's not Outriders, and I'll be very, very tempted to
Yeah, that's true. Well,
buy into the
I
Xbox.
mean, they have a lot of like Xbox 360 and original Xbox games that are on Game Pass
Yeah, that's true.
or available on Series X that you can't play on your PC yet. That I'm interested in.
Yeah.
My 360 copy of The Darkness One is gathering dust, is what I'm saying.
About time.
But yeah, no, I think last thing before we dip out, I just thought of the PS5 uh, SSD expansion thing. Are you
I'm not interested at the current price point.
okay? All right.
I think I could be misremembering what the prices were, but
No,
I
no, no, no.
think
Yeah,
I remember thinking I want more space for less money, and then I'll
yeah.
be interested.
It's if you want like a terabyte to 2 terabytes, it's going to cost you $300 to $400.
Yeah, I don't need that. The space is small on the PS5, but I'm also blessed with good internet. I
Exactly.
could delete and download whatever I
Exactly.
want at any
Yep.
time, so
Yep.
I'm chilling.
No data cap,
Uh,
baby.
there are slight workarounds to this though. I don't know if you know this has kind of been a thing already.
Mm,
You can use external storage differently. You can have a bunch of games, PS5 games, like saved on an external storage, and
yeah.
then just
Yep.
download them to your console
Transfer
actively.
between. Yeah.
Yeah, much faster than an actual download would be,
Yeah.
but that's like kind of
Well,
niche.
fuck. I mean, the downloads are only slow because Sony servers suck ass. Like, if I can download from Steam at 100 meg download,
Yeah,
like 100 meg a second,
true.
why can't like I think I download games at literally half the speed, if not less.
Yeah,
So
it's something
it's like 40, I
like a
think.
yeah. I'm trying to think of like how fast it downloads like per gigabyte. Like I feel like it takes like 10 minutes per 10 gigabytes on my console, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I haven't timed it in a while, but
It's something
maybe
like that.
that's
But
yeah,
it's still decently fast, but yeah, it's
yeah.
like
It's not the same. It's
right.
like okay, I could download the Back for Blood beta in 2 minutes,
Right.
or I could download uh, Final Fantasy. I think I just downloaded Dark Souls 3, and that took 20, maybe 15, 20 minutes. And I
Hmm,
was like, why?
yeah,
I could probably
beautiful.
download Dark Souls 3 right now on my computer, but I don't know.
In like a
Anyway,
minute.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
but
uh that just reminded me too. I'm sorry to keep going, but um you know how the PS5 doesn't do like whatever resolutions in between 1080p and 4K like
yeah, fuck
it
that. Yeah,
apparently they're starting to kind of tap into other resolutions like the new Death Stranding PS5 upgrade is going to support ultra wide monitors specifically, which I thought was funny. Which I don't know.
What?
Maybe that's the just perfect resolution for
What?
the.
Where did you hear that?
No, that's a fact. I read that somewhere.
Huh. No, I mean,
It's
I'm
a
not saying
fact.
it's.
I read it somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a fact, but I am saying that I have not heard that.
Yeah. Well, I also kind of said that because I could actually be wrong, but I thought that was a very interesting, random thing. Like, I
No,
hope
you're right. You're right.
PS5 starts
Well, I
supporting
guess
more monitors, basically, than just 1080p.
this story says could Death Stranding could be the first game with ultra wide support on PS5.
Could be.
Yeah.
I need more than that.
They link to a video, a director's cut developer video Q&A. Upscaled 4K 60 FPS or native 4K. Both of these feature ultra wide and HDR support.
Yeah, according to Kojima Productions head of publishing, Death Stranding Director's Cut will include ultra wide support.
Huh. Okay.
And that is according to a website called NME, which I've
Got
never
it.
heard of.
I'm looking at Tweaktown, which
Let's go Tweaktown. Tweaktown. Oh, I see that.
yeah. Okay. Okay. You know what?
But either way, I
But
read
you
that
know,
and I was just like,
that's pretty
hopefully
interesting.
maybe they'll start
But like,
supporting
so
more.
how does it work? Let's say you hook your PS5 up to like an ultra wide like I have an ultra wide monitor. If I connect my PS5 to that, everything is going to display letterboxed until I boot that game up, and then it just fixes itself.
That's what I was
into
wondering.
an
Yeah,
ultra-wide
that's
format.
what I was wondering because
It's just
the
like, is this just not
PS5
fucking
OS
worth it?
isn't designed for it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's super weird. Um, yeah, that's super weird.
That's very strange. That is insane. Yeah, they should. There's no reason why these consoles. I think Xbox actually
The
does support
Xboxes do.
1440p
Yeah,
as well.
they do
So
support it. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just
I
PlayStation.
mean, there's literally no reason why they don't. They just don't.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, they should.
it's just another thing that Sony could do better that they don't willingly. But
Yeah,
um, like
they want to
the
sell their TVs, man.
yeah, it's true, man. It's true. You know, Sony TV, the undisputed king of TVs right now. Everyone who has a PS5 has a Sony TV because they're just obviously the best. It's definitely not. Yeah, it's definitely not LG or anything.
Yeah,
Or
it
Samsung.
actually.
I would give LG
No,
and
I
Samsung
love LG. Yeah,
equal props. Anyway. Cool. All right, man. You know what else I'll give equal props? This podcast. Nice work.
Yeah,
Nice work,
I
man.
had fun.
Thanks for chatting.
Of course.
Had a good time. We'll make this a little more regular now that I'm set up.
Yeah.
Although now we have a 3-hour time difference, so it's 5 p.m. here.
Right. Yeah. Weekends for me are pretty much kind of I think always good.
Yeah.
You never, I guess, really know, but typically speaking, I mean, we should be able to fit me in somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
for sure. Cool. Looking forward to it. Thanks, partner.
Yeah.
Thanks, Crossley.
Yeah.
I think we I think the proof of how rusty I am is that I did not introduce the podcast.
But that's okay.
I didn't introduce either of us or the name of the show.
That's okay though. There's this one podcast in particular I listen to where they have gotten kind of bad about that because they just start talking and then they intro it at the end.
Thank you. You've been listening to the Infinite Scale Podcast Network. I am William Chandler. I'm talking with Chris Crossley. It's an excellent idea. We'll see. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.